Hey, Ed here from 10,000 Foot View, and I've got another Google Ads quick tip for you today. Just before I jump in, a reminder to please like our content and subscribe to the channel. We post about Google Ads at least once every week. Okay, so today I'm going to be talking about Google's enhanced conversion tracking, and more specifically about the ways that it actually works on the back end, without talking about all the kind of esoteric language that Google uses to describe how it works. So simply put, there's first, before I get into that, there's two types of enhanced conversion tracking. One of them is called enhanced conversions for web, and this works essentially with your web forms. And when somebody submits a web form on your website, it captures the contact information and tries to match that with a known Google account. And the second type is enhanced conversions for leads. And how that one works is when you upload offline conversion data, including contact information, Google matches that information with its database of Google users. Um, so just to elaborate a little bit more, what Google effectively does with enhanced tracking is supplements the cookie-based tracking that it normally uses. And so cookie-based tracking just means when somebody visits your site from an ad, Google adds a cookie into your browser, and then later on, if they convert on your website, whether it's immediately or a week later, it matches that cookie to the original ad click, and then that triggers a conversion within Google Ads. But what the enhanced tracking does is, when it cannot match a cookie, it tries to match that original ad click to a Google user account based on the contact information submitted in the form. Okay, so how does it actually help in real life? Well, there are three kind of circumstances. And the first one is if somebody is using private browsing, and that could be like an Apple device or a browser that has the private browsing options. And what that does effectively is blocks cookies from being added to the browser. And so if there's no cookie, then Google cannot use a cookie to track conversions. So with the enhanced tracking, if that person has a Google Ads account, sorry, not a Google Ads account, but a Google user account, and that can be matched to their contact details through your web form, then that's a way to track conversions. It's supplementary. The second way works just the same, but it'd be in a case where somebody deletes cookies, right? So sometimes people will clear their browsing history, which includes cookies. And if they do that between the time that they click through the ad and submit the web form, then Google's obviously not going to be able to track that as a conversion. That happens pretty infrequently, so it's a kind of an edge case. The one with cookie blocking with private browsing is much more common. But the one that happens the most of all is when you use multiple devices in the time you go from clicking on the ad to actually submitting the form. And so a common case of this would be somebody's on their mobile phone, they click on an ad, they visit a site, but they decide that they want to use their computer later on to fill out that web form. So maybe they create a bookmark, and then later on they come back from their computer and submit that web form. Well, cookies aren't shared between the two devices, so Google has no way to track that conversion. But with enhanced conversion tracking, because their contact details can be tracked back to a Google user account, then that conversion can be tracked. So, it's hard to say whether there are more conversions tracked by the situation when it's cross device, or it's more when there's private browsing, but both are fairly common. Just keep in mind that when you do enable this, you shouldn't expect a miracle. Typically, what we see is about 10% more conversions tracked, which is, pretty significant, but it's not like you're going to see double. It's very uncommon to see that kind of uptick. But those 10% more conversions, I mean, they provide more clarity around reporting and showing the value that Google is driving. And more importantly, those additional conversions can help you optimize your campaigns better and support things like automated bidding and ad split testing operations. So that's enhanced conversions and kind of how they really work. Um, Hopefully, you found this information useful. That is it for today. I will see you next time.